Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Fitz, and welcome to a Ultra Spooky Cup analysis. This is a different kind of video than we normally do on the channel, but I was pretty excited when I heard about this cup on Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon Battle Spot at the end of October this month. So a couple of reasons why I was excited is that they are restricting, Pokemon's restricting the Pokedex for this tournament to all spooky Pokemon. Now, their definition of spooky Pokemon isn't exactly in line with everybody else's. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon available to choose from, some less spooky than others, but it gives a nice amount of Pokemon that different Pokemon will be able to shine in this event, at least in my eyes, especially in a singles format where usually there's, an S and A tier, pretty clear defined, of Pokemon that work well on Battle Spot in a Bring 6 and Battle 3v3 situation. So a lot of those have been kind of canceled out. There's a couple mythicals to choose from and that people will have to prep against. So I really like the format. We're going to do a quick analysis. Not going to take too much of your guys' time, but we're on Cerebi and we're on Smogon to kind of take a quick look. The other reason that I'm super excited for this format, for this cup, is that the entry gift is actually awesome this time. It's going to be a shiny Mimikyu, which is really cool. Obviously, if you use it in battle, other people might know that it won't have egg moves and that sort of thing, just like a Totem Mimikyu, but that'll take a trainer that is watching pretty vigorously for the Cherish Balls and everything, but it'll still have a lot of use. Mimikyu learns a lot of its own moves by level up and TM, so it'll be fine. And it can still be very offensive with Let's Snuggle Forever or the Ghost Z move. So really cool entry. Usually if we scroll up on the other cups this year and in Ultra Sun, or is this just Ultra Sun or 7th Gen in general? Yeah. Okay, dating back to last year. So all of these pretty much are 50 BP entry gifts, as long as you complete 3 battles. And the Pikachu EV1 gives a wallpaper, kind of useless. But this one, I believe the last good entry gift that I can remember, or at least participated in, was Hidden Ability Tyrant and Amora in the end of 6th generation. Maybe in the Sun Moon series there was another entry gift, but I can't think of it. So this is pretty awesome. So we're going to pivot and talk about some of the Pokemon within it. Like I said, pretty much Pokemon decided to go with Dark types, Ghost, and Poison as like a baseline for all the Pokemon that are available. There are also going to be some token Water types like Amistar and Huntail. There are going to be some Electric types like Electivire, some Fire types. Besides just Dark and Ghost types, you have Volcarona, which is pretty cool. Very light on Normal and Fighting types. You have, I believe, Toxicroak, the Beware thing, and Exploud, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much like the Pokemon at a glance. Very few Psychic types. You have a lot of the 5th Gen ones, like Swoobat, Beheem, Gothitelle, but you have Hypno, obviously, is pretty spooky, and that's about it. So yeah, some bugs come into play here, but just at a very quick glance, all Dark, Ghost, and Poison. So you do have 2 mythicals. If I was scrolling down pretty quick, but you have Marshadow here, which is always a good option whenever it's legal. It was even good in the No Holds Barred for being able to steal boosts with Spectral Thief and being able to hit really hard with that 5-star shooting Star Press or something, whatever it is from Brock Lesnar. And then you also have Darkrai, the 4th Gen, somewhere up here. So he's up a little more. Here he is. So I believe you can only use Pokemon from the 7th generation, so Darkrai would only be available in a Korean, I believe, giveaway. I believe that's the only event from Gen 7. Some people were saying that the language barrier between Japanese and English for the Spooky Cup might have been contradictory, and that you might be able to use Darkrai's and other Pokemon from past generations. So I'm not totally sure about that. We'll probably learn more closer to the event. And then we get a few Ultra Beasts to choose from. Nilhego, which is used a lot in doubles and probably a little bit in singles just for its good speed. And then Xurkitree, which loses a lot of what can actually take it out in this cup, so it might actually be really good. Guzzlord and Naganadel and Blacephalon. So Naganadel obviously going to be really good here. Z moves are allowed, but Mega Stones aren't, so Z moves are going to be really, really powerful. Guzzlord might get its time in the sun just because there's a lack of fairy types. There's, maybe 5 to choose from. So all interesting. Can definitely win you the battle by straight sweeping, getting to the point where your opponent can't hit it very hard. But Ditto will be something that you have to look out for. Xurkitree with his Z electric terrain could be really cool to start sweeping. So those are just the Pokemon at a glance. And then if we look at the Smogon viable chart, there's a lot of good discussion going on this website, but they did a quick list of what might be viable. I'll link this in the description if you're planning on playing yourself. So you have some interesting things like Eevee in there for its own Z move, as well as some more traditional Pokemon like Gliscor. And so we'll just take a quick look at some of the defensive Pokemon and some of the offensive sweepers that you might see and that you have to prep for a little bit. And I'll give you my very quick thoughts on them. So Toxapex will be the one we start off with on the defensive side. Obviously really good. Typing won't be as good in this competition, but it's still like there won't be many psychic types, which is good for it, and electric will fall to like Rotom and the occasional Xurkitree. So it'll definitely have its spot with a regenerator core, maybe alongside something like Tangrowth. Toxapex is really annoying, can burn you, can poison. Something like Toxicroak with Dry Skin could actually be somewhat of a counter. It won't be able to touch Toxicroak. It probably will PP stall if it has Haze. If it doesn't, Toxicroak could be a fun thing to run, and Toxicroak kind of avoids the psychic weakness. It also avoids a lot of ground weaknesses in this format, Gliscor being really the one most notable. So definitely something maybe to try out, test before you actually use it. But Toxapex, at least you'll have to have something for it. Have to make sure that Z move will take it out, or you have to know when to use it from 70 HP or 60, and hope you can burn it and it'll stay in without baneful bunkering. So definitely an annoying one, one that I always have at the top of my list to counter. So that was my thinking with Toxicroak, which is more of a VGC Pokemon, especially for this VGC 19 season. Next up is Gliscor. We're going to kind of speed run this one. So obviously has the ice and water weaknesses, Shell Smashers, Huntail, and I definitely Lord Helix. I think Amistar is going to be really good. Like they said, likely good. Probably Rotom also works. Could get poisoned. Any of these could. But you might not waste a move on Gliscor 2 Toxic with how prevalent Toxic is here. So definitely an interesting one. Can poison, heal, and roost to stall you out. You can't just leave it alone and hope that your team will take it out, because you won't be able to kill it. Muck, Alolan Muck is going to be good. Again, we're just talking about the ground weaknesses. They threw Drapion in here too. Muck is probably the better option with the Pinch Berry and Gluttony, it will be able to take a hit from pretty much everything. There's very few things that can take it on one hit, and it actually hits incredibly hard. The last defensive check to pair with Toxapex would be Tangrowth. We talked about it briefly. Really good physical defense, but can be beaten even if it's Assault Vest by some of these special attackers. Just something you'll want to know and scout for with your opponent before wasting a potential Z move or trying to set up with Quiver Dances. Tangrowth can be scary. Probably will be good to take on the few water types that are really nice in this format. Yeah, those are the defensive monsters I wanted to call out. The offensive sweepers that I kind of like, Marshadow is going to run this format basically with its Z move. Could have Bulk Up, could have Substitute, I guess, and just hits really hard with both Ghost and Fighting Stab. You could throw, an HPI Sonnet, but there won't be really too much to hit besides Gliscor with that, so could be a tech. I tried soft resetting for one months ago, and it just took too long, so I decided against that, so I won't have that to my availability. What can give it trouble is going to be Scarf Dittos, and that's pretty much going to be the counter for every offensive Pokemon, especially the Ultra Beast. And the other one that I had in mind was Sableye. I think it works. It'll take a lot from Spectral Thief, but it can burn first and start recover stalling. I didn't take a look at the calcs, but I think that's an advantageous position. You can still foul a play for neutral damage. I kind of like Sableye. It's not actually listed here, so without the Mega, people didn't think it was worth it. I don't know. I think it's better than Mawile. So, yeah. Darkrai, going to be something you might want to consider prepping for. Dark Void and Hypnosis are nerfed, so won't be perfect. But it can still Nasty Plot substitute. And if Sludge Bomb is available, that might be nice for Fairy types. And basically just Dark Pulsing or Focus Blasting, maybe everything else. So really good sweeper, really fast. I believe it's the same speed as Marshadow. I believe they're both base 125. We can check though real quick. Let's see. Yeah, 125, so I think they speed tie, which isn't ideal. If you're in a matchup like that, you will be want to run Timid or Jolly max speed on both of those Pokemon. Fighting types, like Marshadow, can definitely do good damage against Darkrai, and maybe some of the more bulky things will be able to take on Darkrai. Definitely a scary one, depending on if you have to have the Clover or not. It will be either seen a lot or not seen so much. The other real sweepers that I had were Volcarona, which I paired with the other Ultra Beasts, basically being able to get one move up and then continue to sweep. With Naganadel, that would be a Z move to burn to get the special attack raises. With Volcarona, it's Quiver Dancing turn 1, and Circuitry, it would be Electric Terraining. Guzzlord, I don't know, it might be good for trading 1 for 1, and as long as you avoid Fairy types. You can kind of force Fairy types to come to those matchups just by having Guzzlord on the team, so you can kind of prep for that and then bring in your Poison types as kind of the mind games with your opponent. Then the other offensive beast to end it off, wrap this up, is the Ghost types. The ones that kind of pop out to me at first are Mimikyu, H-Slash, and Gengar. All do similar things. The first two like burning their Z moves, and then Gengar kind of likes Focus Sash or Choice Scarf. Maybe Choice Scarf to catch off Marshadows and stuff. And Gengar will be nice for Gliscor, could carry Icy Wind. I kind of like that, and maybe Disable as a way to check some of the things that it doesn't hit incredibly hard offensively. So Yeah, just looking at the rest of this list, obviously, like, Hydreigon's going to be a good one, probably going to be on my team. I really like Exploud. I didn't see it on this list, but basically being able to scrappy boom burst everything in the meta and basically do at least half to everything is a really nice wall breaking set. There are very few things, usually they have to resist them, like Aegislash, to even be able to live. And, you can always Focus Blast or Fire Blast Aegislash. So I think Gravity Will-O-Wisp Sableye could be kind of interesting to give my Exploud the ability to hit those moves. So I'm going to call it here. If you guys have any Pokemon that I didn't touch on that you think are going to be really good, let me know. I haven't done any testing yet, so this was just preliminary analysis. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more of this in the future, definitely let me know. And yeah, I'm really happy that Pokemon is going with a fun event where the prize is actually worthwhile. So definitely grab your shiny Mimikyu, play the 3 battles, and have some fun with it. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.